All right, we're here with one of the great brewers and beer owners in the world. Introduce yourself and tell us where we're at, and what's going on here in the German beer scene.
Hi, my name is Matthias Trum and I run the historic Schlenkerla Smoke Beer Brewery in the sixth family generation. And in the last couple of years there has been a certain hype about alcohol-free beers. It becomes more and more popular in Germany because there's a lot of modern complex techniques or technologies with which you can produce alcohol-free beers. So basically, beer is brewed the normal way, and then with an industrial process, the alcohol is extracted. And these processes have been improved in the last couple of years, so these are relatively good tasting modern style beers. Here at Schlenkerla, we have a slightly different approach. We're all about historic beer production, and I'm a little bit of a hobby beer historian. And I discovered actually in the archives of my family an old brewing technique that was common here in Bamberg 200 years ago. You have to think back then, water was usually polluted. There was no canal system, there was no sewage system, no water purification. So people would drink beer instead of water because it was the safer choice back then. The problem was that when you were hard working, as the people were working back then, labor working, manual labor, they could not drink high alcohol during the day. They would have been drunk and you couldn't do your daily chores. So the Bamberg brewers had developed a special brewing technique with which they could make a low alcohol beer with less than 1% alcohol. And this beer was called Heinzlein or Hansler, like the little Hans. Yeah, it was also a children's beer. Children would drink that.
Oh wow! Okay.
Instead of water. Yeah. And we brought back that historic recipe about 6 or 7 years ago. And the Schlenkerla version of that is the smoked beer Hansler. It has 0.9% alcohol. There's no industrial works in it to extract the alcohol, like no filtration, no distillation. It's also unpasteurized. And so technically it's not alcohol free. The alcohol free level here in Germany is 0.5. I think it's the same in the US.
But most now identify as 0.0.
Only the industrial ones.
Yeah.
If you want to go 0.0, you have to do an industrial technique.
Yep.
Like you extract the alcohol, you catch the aromas, you reinfuse the aromas, you mix CO2 inside, so it's a very industrial process.
So you're just making beer. You're making beer just an old-fashioned way.
We're making beer the historic way, and this is 0.9, and technically this is called low alcohol, but that's a legal term. For instance, in Germany, when you buy a grape juice, this can have up to 1% alcohol, and it's still considered alcohol-free.
Oh wow!
Because in grape juice, the level or the margin is 1%, whereas in beer the margin is 0.5. So if the Hansa were a grape juice, it would be alcohol-free. But since it is a beer, it's low alcohol.
And you guys don't market it as alcohol-free. I noticed it doesn't. It's not marketed as alcohol-free at all.
No, because we want to communicate correctly what it is. So it's low alcohol. Knowing low alcohol is kind of the same range.
Yep.
And so it's not like for pregnant women or if you can't drink alcohol at all. But many German alcohol-free beers actually have 0.4, 0.45 in it.
So how'd you come across this? This is fascinating to me, and I didn't know about this Hansel Stout. How did you find it? And what were you looking for a low alcohol alternative when that whole movement kind of took off? Or was it just coincidence?
The story is a little bit more complex than that.
Okay.
In 2015, my grandmother died, age 104. So alcohol carries you a long way. And in her inheritance, there was a big wooden chest. Like a treasure vault, so to say. And in that were a lot of old books and documents on brewing, 200, 300 years old. And the crown jewel of the archive was a handwritten brewing protocol book of the first generation of my family, the Konrad Graser, from his time at the monastery brewery of St. Michael in Bamberg. Which was,
Michaelsburg Monastery?
Yeah, where the brewery museum is today. And that's the oldest brewing tradition of Bamberg, dating back to the 11th century.
That's your family?
Well, he was there running the brewery for 25 years. And he wrote down every single batch of beer he made.
Wow.
Amount of water, amount of hops, amount of malt, how the beer fermentation went. So very detailed.
For its time, it sounds very advanced, technically.
It was very advanced, but it was all in old figures. So it was not liters or kilograms. It was pounds, but not the pounds we know today. It was the historic pounds.
Yeah.
the amount of beer was measured in buckets. But how big is a bucket?
As opposed, we use barrels now. Someday that'll be anachronistic.
Well, the thing was, there was a standard bucket in Bamberg,
Okay.
which corresponds to 68 liters, but you have to find that out. So my history professor from Weinstefan Brewing University helped me decipher all that. It took some years. First deciphering the handwriting, so I got another historian to transcript that to modern typing.
Wow.
So
This is Old Deutsch. It was written in Old
Old
Deutsch.
German. No, not Old German. They had a different writing then, which was called Citterlin.
Oh, wow.
The Old German writing came later.
And so you work with Weinstefan, which is, of course, the world's oldest brewery, founded in 1040.
Well, the university, not
university.
the brewery.
Oh, okay,
The
okay,
university.
okay.
It's not affiliated with the brewery.
Okay. I'm glad I
It's
asked.
part of the Technical University of Munich.
Okay.
It's located in the city of Weinstefan, where
Okay.
also the brewery is.
Okay.
But it's not part of the
Oh,
university.
okay.
No.
Because there's also, I believe, a yeast bank there. Isn't there some...
Exactly, but that's from the university. That's
Okay.
not from the brewery.
I did not know that.
There's also a laboratory there, which is run economically. So
Okay.
it's all on the same site, but
Yeah.
it's separate legal entities.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of students, of course, do their practice internships and so forth at the Weinstefan Brewery, but the Weinstefan Brewery is not run by the university or vice versa.
Well, let's get back to the
Get
real
back to the beer.
the real interesting story. Your great grandmother, and my condolences on losing your grandmother, but she lived. It sounds like she lived a long, wonderful life, and is part of an incredible global culinary gastronomic tradition.
Right.
What can you tell me your grandmother's name and just I'd like to be able to recognize your grandmother if possible.
Elisabeth Trumm was her name.
Okay.
So she was a born Graser.
Okay.
And when she married, she took the last name of my grandfather. So
Okay.
my last name is Trumm as well.
Okay, so she was a Troom.
She's a Trumm as well.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But the ancestor that did those recipes was Konrad Graser.
Okay.
And in his recipe books, it showed that the regular beer in Bamberg was actually relatively high in malt ratio, so very rich in flavor, possibly a little bit higher in alcohol than normal beers back then. But they always did a corresponding batch, a second runnings basically on the malt. And that was the Hansler, the low alcohol beer.
I used to use a phrase, we called it small beer, and I've been to Orval Brewery in Belgium, and they have a small beer that they only serve at a pub near the brewery called, the monks drink it, and it's called Auberge l'Ange Gardien, like the guardian angel in French. And I think that sounds similar. I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know the alcohol in it, but it sounds
I think
similar.
a lot of countries had that. I talked
Okay.
to the brewmaster from Närke Kulturbryggeriet in Sweden,
Okay.
Karlsson, and she told me that on the Swedish island of Gotland, until the 1970s, they had something that was called dricka, which basically means drink.
Okay.
And that was a similar thing.
Okay.
So basically, it means that it was the everyday, during the day beer, the work beer, the office beer, if you will.
Yeah.
Really low on alcohol, because with 0.9, if you drink that, you don't feel any alcohol.
Yeah.
It's technically not alcohol free, but you don't have an alcohol effect on your body.
And just you spent a lot of time with me. I appreciate your generosity with your time. Just real quick, in the United States, young people aren't drinking nearly as much as they used to, and alcohol consumption's way down. Is this product part of a bigger global trend, or is it just coincident, or is it are people coming here just to drink it, or is it just where does it stand among your product line? Is it a growing segment for you, or?
Well, the thing was, I love old historic recipes,
Yep.
and I love to bring these back. So that was the initial thought.
Yep.
Also, of course, we noticed that a lot of visitors here to the tavern said, I don't want to drink too much alcohol, I don't want to drink alcohol. So that fills the gap, obviously.
Okay.
So in the summertime, we sell a couple of hundred cases of these.
Okay.
In a month or so. So
Okay.
it works really well.
So it's not the big part of your business, but
No.
it's definitely it has its tradition and
It's a
time.
contribution, and
Yeah.
I think alcohol-free beer in general will not take over regular beer. I don't think that one day everybody's just drinking alcohol-free beer.
Yeah. No, people like alcohol. They have for thousands of years.
It's going to go to a certain percentage.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit like craft beer.
Yeah.
There was a time when everybody thought one day everybody's going to drink craft beer, and that didn't happen. And it's not going to happen with alcohol-free beer.
Yeah. But you found, so I'm glad we talked, Matthias. And I just, by the way, Matthias and I met years ago we were friends on Facebook. He doesn't remember me from a hole in the wall, but I just ran into him here, and I said, "Hey, I know you." And he took. Thank you for your time talking to me. And I didn't know this whole story until just now, the whole history. And I'm glad we talked, Matthias. And you guys have an incredible. This is a global institution in the gastronomic world. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.